Now we're live.
Now we're live. Dan Crystal, what's up?
How you doing, Dave Schaefer?
I'm doing awesome, man. How everybody? Been a
Great
while.
to be here.
It has been a while.
Has it? I
Yeah.
mean, 2.5 months probably is a little bit of some time.
Yeah. A few things have happened.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I think we should catch everybody up with what's been going on with us personally. What do you think?
Do it. Start with you.
I'll start with me.
Yeah,
You want me to go first?
I'm gonna pull up the Facebook stream so I can. Hey, there's Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence, how's it going?
Oh wow, Lawrence, good to see you. Yeah. So, man, where to start? Man, it's been since November, right?
So there's somebody here in this conversation that's had COVID, and it isn't me.
Yeah, that would be me. That would be me. Yeah, back, I think it was like December 29th. And it was 2 days after that where I started getting some symptoms. And then on January 1st, I had the symptoms. Went and got tested on January 2nd, positive. Tanya, positive. Journey, positive. So we all had it at the same time. Probably like a day behind for Tanya because I think I got it and then passed it off to her. Sarah Carrera, Peter Brophy. So I have to tell you, it was not fun. The way I describe it is my experience. If anybody else has had COVID in the group online right now, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
You don't have to offer your personal medical information like I'm doing, but just shout out, hey, I've had it. And
and what's your blood type? Apparently it's not O.
It's O positive. So whatever that was like not true.
That was
anyway. So I would say, Lisa, that's right. I remember you and I chatted about. You had it before I did, actually. Yeah, I had. I would say it was more like an upper respiratory infection with a stomach virus, all rolled up into one. And then the after effects were I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
I developed pleurisy, which is like a inflammation in the lining of your lungs. When you're taking a deep breath, it actually hurts. But it was over a nerve, like on my chest. So as soon as I take a breath in, I went numb, like a rush of numbness went from my chest all the way up to my head. This happened twice in one morning, and the second time it stayed around for like an hour.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like losing it because I'm like, man, this is not good. This is so not good. My dad has had TIAs. He's had little mini strokes here throughout his golden years. And I'm like, man, this is too young. This can't happen. Carl, all the way. Are you still on the East Coast? My gosh, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, buddy.
So yeah, we all three had it. We made it through. Tanya was able to get back to work relatively quickly in about the 10-day period. We of course waited that time frame. And did everything we should have, got the clear from the doctor, and we went back. So here's how we spent COVID. You ready? You ready for this? Yeah. So we had already planned on doing some work outside. So I had fitness. So when I had COVID, we had an excavator in our backyard. So I spent several afternoons riding around an excavator doing some grading, digging some holes. So oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was good. But here's the deal. If you do get COVID, you're supposed to keep your lungs moving. You need to keep active. Don't let it get sedentary. Don't let that junk settle in your lungs. So I'm not saying go run a marathon, but you got to stay active. And I'm not a doctor, so you can't take any medical advice from me. Just take it from my experience. It really helped me.
Wow.
So got that going on. And then I unofficially can't mention, hi, June and Kevin, I unofficially cannot mention something that I do on Monday mornings with a friend of mine because this is a Bayside event. But if you're interested, check out my Facebook. That's
okay. Oh, I didn't hear anything. So how was Christmas for you guys?
You know what? Christmas was it was pretty nice. We had Tracy, it's great to see you. It was pretty nice. We had it was just Tanya and I and Miriam. we went and then we had the grandkids over, and Journey, by the way, and then we had the grandkids over, and my son-in-law and his now wife, because they got married, and and their new little baby. So it was nice. It was the family. It was good. How was yours?
Well, it was good. You know, we had God really did some great stuff. You guys, I want to encourage you that in the midst of all this craziness, you know, there's been a lot of ups and downs, not only for us personally, but I'm going to talk about the Bayside Church at Granite Bay. And, you know, we've caught some flack from all sides, you know, and you know, it seems no matter what we do, you know, one side of the political spectrum or the social spectrum is going to give us grief. So we decided to do this outdoor ice rink, as you guys know, and a little insight on that. You know, we're used to taking arrows because we're kind of it's a big target. And one of the first nights that we had the skating rink out of, if you guys got a chance to see, a huge light show narrated by the gal who does all the narration and the in-park stuff at Disneyland. That voice, please watch your step as you enter the tram, you know, that lady. And so was quite a to-do, and you could see the lights from miles away. So the first night they've got it going, they say they see KCRA helicopter above them, you know, and they're, oh boy, here it comes, you know, we're gonna get it, you know. You get a lot of publicity over there at Destiny, as you guys know. And so sure, about an hour later, reporter comes and shoves a microphone in one of the pastors' face, and it was the most positive thing. They were so excited. The church really, really hit this one out of the park. It was thousands of people came to safely get some exercise on an ice rink. So that was amazing. And it just started out as an ice rink. And then Corbin, you know, Phillips, our worship leader at Granite Bay campus, he said, hey, man, you mind if I kind of take it a little bit further? So then they built that Bavarian Village, and oh man, goodness, it was amazing. So that was really fun. And then Christmas services, we did 18 at Granite Bay, and you guys, and you know, I think we had about 10,000 people come through, which it's not about numbers, but it was really cool to see what God did. You know, it was crazy. On a side note, I sat there with my family. I think it was the second night of the 18. And I could see the hardwood floors in the worship center on a Christmas event. That never happened. I mean, it was actually really nice. There's a lot of room in there. It felt great. And God is just continuing to move. And it shouldn't astonish us that in the midst of all this chaos, that he still comes through. We were able to give a lot of money to a bunch of different charities and really help some great stuff. Continue our care of sex trafficking girls and stuff. Some great stuff happening. So that was great. And on a personal note, Christmas was awesome, but big thing in the Schaefer family, we got an engagement.
Oh, yes.
Lauren got engaged on New Year's Eve. Now,
Nice.
Paul, he's a great young guy. And they've been dating a while. So I was trying to keep my cool and, you know, love the guy. I don't want to put any pressure on anybody, but she basically had told him, she said, listen, man, we need to get moving here, and we need to do it this year. So he waited until he had 12 hours left in the year, and he did it, and they got a beautiful ring, and it was such an exciting time over at the house. And man, I just couldn't stop smiling. Still can't. And so I will be bringing my lunch for the foreseeable future, saving up money to pay for this thing. But it has been really fun kind of putting that together. Sure have missed meeting live with singles. I can tell you that there's a hole in my life, not being able to see you guys, not be able to worship with you, not be able to learn and listen and cry and all the things that we do in singles ministry. But have no fear. We are going to be meeting as soon as we possibly can. And I have a feeling it's going to be sooner than later. We just have to kind of go through the motions. And amidst all of this, I feel encouraged. I really do. I feel like going forward, we've got an amazing leadership team that's really bought into serving you guys. And this promises to be a great year. And I can tell you, remember, put this on your calendar. Usually we don't release the date quite this early, but we will have the singles retreat, and that is July 9th through 11th at Zephyr Cove, and it's going to be packed. It's going to be going out all over the church world, because Dan Houck and Chris Fatako, they did this thing. They released their first book. You guys probably saw my posting. They're going to be doing a virtual book signing / reveal on the 14th. How great timing on a relationship book. So what's cool about that is the book's been picked up by a couple of big things. Probably the biggest is Focus on the Family, Lisa Anderson, and they're supporting it. And I would imagine this thing is going to sell like hotcakes, people from all over. So as soon as it goes live, you guys, it's going to be sometime in April, and we'll give you plenty of time. Things have gone up. It's probably going to go up about $20, I would think, because they really raised the prices on us, on our rates. And we're not trying to get rich or money on the thing. We're just trying to break even on these. And that's all we really do. If we happen to make any money, it goes right back into the ministry anyways, in our ministry, singles ministry, not Bayside Church as a whole. So you guys, the retreat's coming. My plan also is this. You ready for this, Dan?
Yeah.
We're going to at least get 2 dances in this year, as long as they'll let us. And I'm thinking like September and then New Year's. So, and some other events and stuff. So that's what I got. But I want you guys to be encouraged. God is on the move. Record number of people coming to Christ, by the way, over the Christmas holidays. And the church is moving forward. Pray for Ray and Kurt and Andrew. Just as they navigate this, they've been so nimble, and they're really doing some great work.
They really are. And I'll tell you what, we had, if I'm not sure how many of the singles were able to take advantage of this, but last Thursday, we had the first ever Thrive Business Leaders Summit. And it was a one-day event. It is actually still on the thriveconference.org site. You just go to thriveconference.org, and then you actually click on the top, watch the Business Leader Summit. If you are involved, hey, Heather, if you are involved in any kind of business leadership, you want to watch every single speaker. We had speakers all throughout the day, 15, 20, 30 minutes long. You can go back and watch it at your leisure. Super, super encouraging. Pastor Ray actually rolled this out at one of our Christmas services, and it's actually all of our Christmas services, and then even talked about it our Sunday morning right before Christmas, about the fact that there are so many small businesses and businesses in our area that have been there for the church for years.
Yeah,
time for us to turn around and be there for these business leaders. Here's the statistic that really broke my heart, is that 60% of the current businesses that are closed will stay closed. And then the other one that really impacted me was 3 out of every 10 businesses by the summer will probably have to stay shut down for good. And then we had I was able to be a part of the chat, and just hearing these business leaders and how thankful they were for the encouragement, number one, for the resource that Bayside is providing, and Thrive Conference is providing for all these business leaders and businesses. It's just unbelievable. There's an organization that I actually currently work with as an extern called Pacific Justice Institute, and they are offering free legal counsel as long as it's within their purview of what they practice, of course. But they also have a list of people that are affiliates that they can refer people to for legal counsel if you need that as well. So it was a phenomenal event, and just another reason why we should be encouraged, because in all this craziness that we've been through in the last year, churches like Bayside and other churches that have come alongside the Thrive Conference are stepping up to the plate and saying, we're going to do the ministry. We're not going to back down. We're going to keep pressing, and we're going to keep serving. So I want everybody to know we have not let up on the gas pedal.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't expect us to. That's just not the style. And I want to thank all you guys who are faithful givers to Bayside. We're keep on keeping on. And I want you guys to hear this from me again. I got on Christmas Eve. There's a little green room next to the stage there, and it's where all the senior pastors meet when services are going on. It was between services. It was New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, excuse me. And I get called into the office. You know, it's like, whoa, this is where all the big hitters are. I'm going, oh no. And they just encourage me. They are 100% behind the singles ministry and what we're doing and who you guys are. In an era where singles ministries are diminishing, most churches, if they had them, they're not supporting them, and we are fully supported 100%. They want us to keep doing what we're doing, keep bringing a healthy ministry where people can grow, and 100% behind this ministry. And it was really an awesome. They brought me in just to say that, you guys. So just be assured that as soon as we can start meeting in person, we will.
We definitely will. So, Dave, you didn't tell us for anything other than the whole marriage pending with the family. How are you doing personally, bud? I don't think everybody wants to hear how you're doing.
I have my moments. I got to tell you, let me share this. I can't tell you who, but I got a phone call yesterday afternoon. That phone call you don't want to get from somebody. And one of my good friends that basically looks like he's got a pretty good tumor in his lungs. He's a young guy. He just got married about 1.5 years ago. I mean, young, he's 50, so it makes him young to me. And, I just broke down. I mean, I didn't know what to say. And he's a Christian guy. And he asked me, not to share his name but you guys, knowing how to react to that moment. I mean, I couldn't even talk, right? Our life is so precious, and our every breath we take is just a gift from God that we're here. Not that we're afraid of life after, because we know where we're going, but everybody's a little unsure of what they haven't experienced before, right? And yeah, that's where I'm at. It was a tough 24 hours, man. I couldn't get it off my mind. Until we started, honestly, it's been like, when something's in the back of your mind, it's like I say, it's like our iPhone, if we don't clear all the apps in the background, it's there because your phone's slowing down. That's how I was emotionally. And my wife just comes up and hugs me. She says, "Honey, what's wrong?" And I told her, and she's like, "Oh my goodness." I'm just sharing that with you guys because, like I said, every breath is a gift from God. And although this guy's got a great faith, he's a great Christian. I mean, he's devastated. He'd come out of a tough marriage and got remarried to the gal that he just loves. It's just the right person at the right time. And anyways, so that's just happened yesterday. Other than that, things have been going really good up to that moment. I would say Christmas was phenomenal. But I do have my moments, and just like everybody else. And how do I get through that? The best thing about it was I got that phone call about, I guess about 3:30 yesterday. And then I got a chance to do some singing and playing my guitar and worshiping. And let me tell you, it's therapeutic, and I need that. But the fact is that we're going to have those ups and downs. And the only way we can get through it is to get on our knees and say, God, ask questions. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little hacked off at God. I'm going, dude, out of all the people, really? The guy jogs every day, and he was having little problems breathing. We were supposed to get together last week, and he kind of flaked on me. And so I said, what? And he said, I'm having problems breathing. And I said, I'm like, dude, what, you got the Rona? what? So he calls me yesterday and what, do you have the Rona? Never would have expected what I heard. And, but I believe in miracles, and I've seen it too many times. And if it is a terminal thing, at least for this life, we're going to live life well. In the meantime, that's what I told him. I said, we're not going to let this keep you from living life well as long as we can. So,
Yeah.
But
What's his first name, Dave?
I can't say.
You can't. Okay. Well, let's just be an example of what we would want all these singles to do, which I don't really have to think we have to prod them too hard, but let's just say a word of prayer for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just pray. And we don't need to know his name, but because Jesus knows his name, and he's definitely going to be with him, hopefully later than sooner, and prayerfully. Lord, so grateful for Dave just opening up his heart tonight and sharing with him, with all of us, and in vulnerability and in honesty and truthfulness, what's on his heart. Because sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, we can't actually know what to pray for unless we're told. And so, Lord, we pray for Dave's friend. We do believe in healing. We do believe that you are not only able and capable, but willing and desiring to heal him. So, Lord, we pray a healing touch in his body right now. And Lord, that you would work through the situation. And we are so thankful, Lord, that you are going to be with Dave's friend and with Dave, and giving Dave not only the right words to say, but the right time to say it. And that his friend would know that there are so many more people now that are praying for him that probably were not praying for him before, and that he would feel the encouragement, know the encouragement is there, and understand and know that Jesus is literally right there with him at every step, at every moment. In Jesus' name, amen.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
You know what? No problem. I have maybe next week I'll share it with everybody, because we had something else going on with somebody that we know too. But little on a positive note, our youngest daughter turned 21 yesterday.
Youngster.
21, man, 21. I got a 3.5-year-old granddaughter running around the house. I got a 7-year-old grandson. He turned 7. And my wife had a birthday last month. 2 months ago in December. Time keeps marching on. And so a lot of people wonder, especially after we go through a crazy year like we went through last year, how do you stay encouraged? And how do you keep on moving forward? And how do you just keep your mind focused on the right things, on God things, and how do you have faith through everything that we go through? So I know that you kind of shared a little bit on your heart with me about what you want to talk about tonight, but before I kind of run into and the reason why I mentioned my youngest daughter, Miriam, is because of what her and I and Tanya talked about at dinner last night. But encouragement. Yeah. You are literally going through the moment right now where you probably need encouragement. You need to offer encouragement. You need to be strong. You need somebody to be strong for you. What does that look like for you right now? And then going into this year of 2021.
For me?
Yeah, you.
What does encouragement look like to me? And what is 2021? I am encouraged. Like I'm encouraged about, honestly, I feel better about singles ministry right now going forward as I ever have been. I feel like we've got an amazing team that's helping lead that. I got you. I got these amazing folks that and great support. And how do I get my encouragement? I am encouraged I'll tell you one of the big things right now. I love the team that we have at Granite Bay campus. Literally, like I say it all the time, and I've told anybody who'll listen that this is my favorite staff we've had, and I've been there. This is my 12th year. And I find encouragement. And how do I find that encouragement? Everybody is hardworking. Everybody's super talented. And to think that God would allow me to work there with such an amazing group, way more talented than I'll ever be. And I was like, man, That's where honestly where I'm getting most of my encouragement. Because, and you know what else I've done? I've turned off the media pretty much. And another place I find encouragement is with my wife and that relationship. And it doesn't have to just be your wife, but one of the cool things we've been doing is we've been reading to one another. And what a blast that's been. Anything from the Bible and to historical things. I'm actually reading this book about this area that I love, the fish and the historical background of that, from the Indians back in the 1700s all the way through now. So yeah, I find my encouragement through my work, through scripture, through my relationships. Yeah, that's where I'm finding it. Through you guys, through Dan Crystal.
You have the gift of encouragement. That's one of the reasons why I asked that question, because you are whenever you talk about someone, especially publicly or even not even publicly, just right to their face, you're always encouraging, man. And I think that sometimes that's what we need to do throughout the years, just literally encourage other people, and we ourselves can become encouraged because of it. But sometimes we want it to be reciprocal, right? And sometimes we want to know for a fact that God's with us, that Jesus is with us. And so last night, Miriam was, we went to dinner with her for her birthday at a great spot, by the way. If you haven't been in Lincoln, they're not paying me to say this, but maybe I should ask them to. It's a great spot in Lincoln called the Fork Kitchen, F-O-U-R-K Kitchen. And they do one seating a night. It's really inexpensive as far as restaurants like that go. It's like $44 per person. And then you can add a couple other things to your menu if you want. But great spot, really intimate and affordable. So if you are looking for a spot, what's that?
4-course.
Oh yeah, it's a 4-course meal. I mean, you're talking hors d'oeuvre, another hors d'oeuvre, a meal, and some dessert. And that dessert was off the chain. Anyway,
Okay, hang on. You've got me with the food. Tell me about this fork. Everybody else wants to know, I'm sure. Tell us what the food was.
So we started off with, they have one menu per month. So you have that menu for the month of February. And we just had the first dinner of February last night at this restaurant. There was an ahi tuna with an avocado cream with wasabi sauce that has some kind of sriracha on the side and some kind of amazing mustard sauce underneath. Wonton on the side. It was just unbelievable.
I hear Tanya going, wontons.
Wontons in the background. She's like, let's talk food. Let's talk food, people. You want to get encouraged. Let's talk food. So the second course we had was a potato soup, but it wasn't just any potato soup. Oh my gosh. It had amazing kind of, I think, was it Gruyere cheese or something on it? Smoked bacon. And, oh yeah, it was good. And it was just, I have no words to describe to you what this potato soup was like. And then the executive chef who was actually there, he's been working on this bolognese sauce for 12 years. And he made this dish that had pork and beef. It was pork and beef bolognese over pasta. And I'm here to tell you the 12 years of his life to make that sauce was worth it. It was delicious.
And all right, I gotta go now, man. I gotta eat.
And then
last night a 4-course meal. It's usually a piece of meat and a salad. That's all we eat around here. That sounds
a 4-course meal, huh?
Lawrence Martin says bacon.
I know, right? Well, the last course was a salted caramel brownie. It had huge chunks of chocolate in it and a little mocha ice cream on the side. And they took a fork. This place is amazing. They took a fork and laid it on the plate and then sprinkled powdered sugar over top and then took the fork up. So when they brought it, it was like a little imprint of the fork in powdered sugar.
That's awesome, man.
I'm saying it was amazing.
All right.
So back to the story. Lawrence, bacon. I know. And that's one of my favorite comedy bits by Jim Gaffigan is the bacon. Anyway, so we were at dinner last night and we were talking about the Bible. And my youngest just said, Dad, of all the stories in the Bible, the one that really gets me the most and the one that I really have a lot of questions about is the feeding of the 5,000. And I'm like, you know what? That's a great story. And it's not just a story. Obviously, we know it actually happened. We believe that Jesus is the Son of God. So obviously it happened. And so she said, I just want to know what are we supposed to know about that story? What are we supposed to learn from that? I mean, was it just the fact that there's a little kid that had 5 loaves and 2 fish and then he gave it? I mean, that's one way to look at it. Was it, or just what was it? So in a short amount of time, I had to think about every sermon I've ever preached about that message and boiled it down to different perspectives, right? And everybody's heard this message from the perspective of the kid. Because the kid just got up that day, his mom packed him some lunch, said, hey, you want to go hang out with a couple thousand people and hear Jesus speak? Oh, yeah, that sounds great. So he goes probably with his family and goes, and everybody else, he was the disciplined one. Everybody else probably had their snacks and food, and he had his little lunch left over. And so Jesus, looking on compassion from everybody, was like, we can't send them home hungry. I mean, that sounds like an Italian grandma, right? You're not going to leave here hungry. And if you don't eat enough, we're going to make sure you eat more. That's kind of how I pictured that moment with Jesus. Like, no, you can't go home. We can't send them home hungry. It's too much of a travel. And so when you look at it from Jesus's perspective, Jesus saw the masses. He saw the crowds, and he saw each one and said, I cannot send them away without meeting their need. So this coming year, you have a need. I'm not sure what it is for you and whoever's listening. You have a need. And I'm here to tell you tonight that Jesus not only sees you and sees your need, but he wants to meet that need. But he wants to meet that need in a way that'll have the meeting of that need point to him. Not point to your circumstance, not point to your success after the need is met, not point to anybody else. He wants you to look to him and understand that this need that was just met was met because Jesus saw it. And he said to all the disciples that are around, we'll get to them in a minute. He said, no, we're going to meet their need. He wants to meet your need this year. He really, really does. But we also have to see this from, and there's more to Jesus there. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we also have to see this from the crowd's perspective, right? They're all there. They all know they're hungry. They all know they have to travel home. I'm not sure how many of them. There are 5,000 men there, more with women and children, because we don't really know exactly how many women and children were there. But we know that at least this crowd had to be, it was definitely over 5,000, but it could have been upwards of 15 to 20,000 people. And they're needing to go home to get their food and sustenance. I don't know how prepared they are. I don't know how much money they had in their pocket. There wasn't any McDonald's you could stop on the side of the road on the way home. I mean, there was nothing like that. I mean, you couldn't stop off at a gas station and pick yourself up some pork rinds and some potato chips. That just doesn't happen. So, and Jesus, like I said, he wanted to meet their need, but he wasn't going to send them home without meeting that need. So he had the disciples sit them all down. Now, if you're everybody in the crowd and you're being asked to sit down, there's an anticipation that happens. Like, what's going to come next? What's going to happen? And so all these people, they all had the need. They all knew they were hungry. They're looking to see what's going to happen next, and they have this anticipation. And then you see these disciples start to hand out food, and they're moving through the crowd, and they're handing out food to every single person. Every man, woman, and child was able to eat. They were able to, and it doesn't just say that they ate, but it says they ate until they were full. Here's the other part of it. Man, I have so much going through my mind about this, everybody, as far as encouragement for this year. Number one, not only does he want to meet your need, but he wants to fulfill it. He wants to fill your need until you can't take any more of that need being met. He really does.
Yep.
But they had to sit down and they had to trust in the waiting period. I don't know if you know how long it takes to feed 15 to 20,000 people, but it doesn't just happen when you only have a couple hundred people to serve. It doesn't happen very quickly. It's going to take hours. And so they had to wait for their need to be met. Some of you are in that waiting period right now. Some of you are waiting for God to fill that need. I'm here to tell you, don't give up. Trust in God. He wants to meet your need, but it may take a little longer for some than it takes for others. But it's not a competition. It's not about who got in line first. It's not about who is more special to Jesus. It just has to do with the timing that Jesus has in meeting your need, but he will meet it. So the crowd is then getting all their food. The disciples are handing it out. They're eating until they're full. And they're probably, some of them are laying back and like undoing their belt and their tunic. And they're like, man, I can't have another bite. And then going back to the kids' perspective, and this is the part that everybody normally hears, right? It's the fact that if you just have a little bit, God can turn it into a great amount of bit, right? I'm not sure if that's how you say that. It's probably not a very great way to say it as a pastor, but he's going to take a little bit and turn it into a lot of bit. And he's going to take your little bit and he's going to meet the need of thousands. What is it that you have currently in your possession that you're willing to give up? Because if you didn't eat your food, you're still hungry. But he gave it up to Jesus to use to feed the crowd. And then he not only got it back, but he probably got back more, because it says everyone ate till they were full. I'm not sure how much this kid could eat, but I bet you anything, if he was a teenager, he could put it down. He could probably put it down. He could probably eat 10 loaves and 5 fish if he wanted to. But he had his fill. Jesus not only gave back to him what he had given to him, but he even gave him more until he was filled. So don't waste what God has given you. Don't hold on to it when you get that prodding in your spirit that you're supposed to be generous. Be generous. Bayside is probably one of the most generous places I've ever met. And the people that I've met at Bayside are some of the most generous people I've ever met. I remember a church actually when I was back east, and actually most churches I've been to, I've met some incredibly generous people. And those who are generous, it says, he who refreshes others in Proverbs 17 will himself be refreshed. If you give that to God, if you give what you have to God, he will not only refresh you, but he'll refresh you beyond what you thought possible. But then there's another perspective. And this is the perspective of the disciples. The disciples, first of all, when Jesus said to them, hey, what kind of food do we have? What are we able to give these people? And Philip speaks up and says, you know what, Jesus? I'm not sure if you're doing the accounting right, because it would take like 8 months of wages to be able to feed all these people. And we don't even have that much money to feed them even for a day. And so Jesus said, well, what do you have? I mean, I could just sense Jesus looking at him like, wait a second. You guys have been walking with me and seeing miracles and watching everything I'm doing, and still yet you're doubting whether or not I can feed these people. I'm sure he didn't say that out loud, but maybe he wanted to. But from the disciples' perspective, they not only had to trust that Jesus, who was the one telling them we're going to feed them, they didn't even know the whole plan. They didn't even have a clue exactly what Jesus was going to do with the 5 loaves and 2 fish that he had been given by this kid. They're just looking at it, and I can imagine their doubt in their minds going, what is he going to do with this? He's not even going to feed this little kid. This is his lunch. This is probably what he had to eat on the way home. And now, what is he going to do with this? But they had to, here's the key. If Jesus gives you an instruction, he wants you to do it. He wants you to actually do what he's asking. So when he said, go find something to feed these people, it wasn't up to them to question how he was going to do it with so little. He just said, bring me what you have. So they found this kid, they bring it to Jesus, and then they're watching Jesus literally in front of their eyes, watching Jesus perform this miracle. They are literally watching Jesus continue to pull out bread and fish and bread and fish and bread and fish and filling up baskets as they take it to all their people. And they're literally, I mean, could you imagine them just going back every single time they dropped off a load to a group of people, and they're going back to Jesus to find another load of food and wondering how in the world did Jesus actually meet that need? I mean, I would imagine as if it were me, I'd want to drop off that food and run back as fast as I can to see again another miracle happening right in front of me. Like, this is insane. So from the disciples' perspective, there are a lot of you who serve very, very hard in church. This past year, you've even picked it up. You may not have been there in person, but you've picked it up. You've gone to that neighbor and you've said, hey, what can I do to help you? You've gone to your friends. You've gone to those who actually can't get out. You've said, hey, what can I provide? What can I bring? What can I help you with? A lot of you have done that. And I guarantee you, if you look hard enough, you probably don't have to look that hard. You will watch a miracle happen right before your eyes, because you will bring what you have and you will bring what other people have, and you'll be able to meet that need because you'll see Jesus meeting that need as you're taking that, not only as you're taking it, but as you're literally retrieving what it is that you have to take to them. And you're going to take to them and you're going to see Jesus do another miracle when their eyes light up and they recognize that Jesus saw them and he met their need. So when you ask me, Dave, about how I can encourage people this year, last year sucked. Can I say that on Facebook Live for Bayside? I'm sure I can. I just did. Last year sucked. No doubt about it. But this year, I am praying and I'm hoping that everyone will understand that going into this year, Jesus sees you. He loves you. He wants to meet your need. He also knows that we should understand that sometimes we have to wait. That waiting period is extremely difficult. It really is hard because we're going to wonder why. Why is my turn not happening? Why is somebody else getting something and I'm not? Why? But then he also is asking us, even in that waiting period, to offer up to him what we have so that he can use it and multiply it. And then at the same token, he's going to ask you to serve. And this year, I want you to do all of these things that we're talking about tonight. And I guarantee you will have one of the most encouraging years you could ever have. It's time for us to dream again, not about what we want, but about what Jesus wants to accomplish. Because when Jesus said, I want to accomplish this, the disciples were like, there's no way. But what is it that Jesus wants to accomplish in your life and the lives of those that are around you? What is it that he wants to accomplish? Because I guarantee you it's bigger than what you think for yourself and for those around you. And then ask him what it is he wants you to do.
That's so good, dude.
That's what I got for you, man.
That's amazing. You know, it's so easy. Like when I got that bad news yesterday, man, it was like, man, and it's bad news. I mean, trust me, but it's so easy when things are going wrong just to kind of get in a place and just kind of keep letting it pile and pile and pile. Then it's really hard to dig out. Well, so many times when I've been faced with these obstacles, and so many times when you're going through it and your friends are saying all these things like, oh, dude, God doesn't give you too much more than you can handle and blah, 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 blah. And you're going, man, are you kidding me? Right now, I mean, it's the last thing you want to hear. But although it's true, right? That God, he doesn't say that in the Bible, but God really wants what's best for you. And then I waste so much time worrying about things that I can't control. But that's the human condition. But that's why Jesus says, hey, listen, bring that all here. You got to, you know what? You got to get rid of it. Hey, you can't handle this. I know who you are. God made you. And so I know everything about you. I know every every hair on your head. I know everything. And I know you can't handle this. That's why our relationship with Jesus is so important, especially when we're going. Like my buddy, I told you about earlier. I talked to him today, and he's got a really good attitude. I had to apologize because I couldn't. Didn't have anything to say. I was just sobbing, you know. It's one of those things. But I know this, that no matter what, even in the midst of the worst thing, it always turns out. It always turns out. You got to walk through it, and so you do the best we can. And one of the things, Dan, you asked me earlier about it, how about encouraging people. That's how I get out of my stuff too. It does me good to see other people happy. And not that I'm going to tell you something that isn't true, but I'm going to point out, I try to point out things that are positive about people and how grateful I am for these folks that are in my life. And that's a great way to get the subject off whatever's bringing you down. Dan, you are an incredible pastor, and we are certainly blessed to have you a part of this ministry. You guys, go ahead and share in the comments, you know, if you can, if you want to, what's been on your hearts in terms of what's been bringing you down, and then what's been encouraging you. And you know, if you want to share that stuff, we can pray for one another via the comments. They'll be up for a while. But I want to encourage you about this year going forward. This is going to be an incredible year, and God needs you to be a part of that. And so if you see in the chat, there's a questionnaire. It says, we want to hear from you. And it's just that, you know, it's been so long since we've been able to get together and do our singles ministry together and live life together, that it's really like kind of starting over. And the great thing about it is, this is a chance to make it the singles ministry you always wanted it to be. Now, I wish I could take every single one of you and put you on a big leadership team, and we can't do it. Why is that? Because if you do that and you have a meeting, nobody gets a chance to talk. Because, you know, if you just take 5 minutes, you got 100 people there, it's going to be a while, right? So short of that, we've got a little questionnaire of you, and it's not real probing or anything like that. We just want to hear from you. We want to do the best job we can to make your life different and better. So my heart is this: I don't have a heart for doing ministry just for the sake of doing ministry. I want to have a ministry that is changing people's lives for the better. I want people to come here. We're all broken. And you know, I get questions all the time. Well, you guys are married. What do you? You're right. I am married. But I will tell you that when we do ministry together, I get a lot out of what I see happens in this singles ministry. And with all you guys, gosh, half of my spiritual walk these last 12 years is because of singles ministry. At least, maybe even more than that, because that's where I spend a lot of time. So we can make a difference together. So if you would, it's back, like I said, find this, fill it out, and check it out. We want you to be, Jason Everly didn't expect to see you. Hey, Jason, I love that guy. Man, married man. Anyways, check it out, and we're going to move forward together, you guys. I just want to just stay encouraged. You know, I know it's tough, and like I keep mentioning, but I'll keep saying this. And one of the things that's really happened since Andrew's been here and his wife has kind of led our prayer ministry, it's a vibrant prayer ministry. And there's always things that we're doing that are publics. A lot of them aren't. But what's encouraging is the church has been praying for each and every one of you in this singles ministry. And it was really cool, and it still is cool. So that's what I got. One more thing that I also want to bring up. Some of you that may see this or see it now, you know, the chances are this is going to get somewhere between 15,000 and 25,000 views, maybe even 50. You never know. That's kind of been the average. To let you know, we also have available at Granite Bay, we started divorce care. It's tough enough being single and being alone. If you're just going through the biggest heartbreak of your life and you're alone and with a divorce, man, this is the place to go. It's an amazing It's an amazing ministry. Now, I will tell you, class size is limited, but we've been doing that the whole time. So right now, because of COVID, we can only take so much, but we will be starting another one here in the spring. And there's other Bayside campuses that are giving divorce care too, guys. Why are we talking about this stuff? Because like I say, I get constant emails from not only the pastors, voicemails, all this stuff for people that are really in dire straits. So we want to take care of you.
Not only do we want to take care of you, we just want to make sure that you know that you're part of a big community, but you're also part of a smaller community.
Yeah.
And in those smaller communities, a lot of the things that we're looking for can happen even faster in those smaller communities. I was looking back at one of the comments, Dave, just now, and that's kind of why I was hesitating. But Christine mentions that encouragement for her is that this year she's not learning. She's learning to trust God, not with the outcome that she wants, but trusting Him with the process.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of one of the miracles that Jesus did, another miracle that He did, where he put the mud on the eyes of that guy who was blind, and then told him to go wash it off. And then and then it's like, wait a second, why would He do that? And as I was teaching that to a group of people one time, it just dawned on me, sometimes the miracle is what we learn in our obedience.
Yeah.
We may not actually get the immediate healing that everybody else may have gotten, but for some reason, Jesus decided that day to take some dirt, make it mud, put it on his eyes, and tell him to go wash it off in the pool. Sometimes the miracle is what we learn in our obedience to God. And then the miracle can happen. So I don't know, a little something that came to my mind about that. But I'm looking forward to hanging out with everybody this year. I'm so glad that we're back, at least on Thursday nights, doing our thing here. But I echo what everybody else says. It'd be great if we could see everybody in person, and that will happen. It will happen. We just have to wait.
Yeah, and I think if for some reason they're still pretty tight about meeting inside, as soon as the weather gets good enough where we can meet outside, we'll go to a park and just hang out and just do life together. But you guys are amazing. Share this. So we're going to come with a regular lesson next week. We wanted just to kind of hit a few things, let you guys know that you are loved, wanted to kind of catch up and just to have a conversation. I can't wait to do this in person. And, one of the things that I promise you when we do get back together in person, that we're going to, I think it's going to be a couple of, maybe the first time we get together is just going to be a party, saying hi to everybody and just kind of just getting to see everybody again would be really great. I know I need it. I know you guys need it. And, so some great things on the horizon, you guys. And there's some things that if they happen are going to be pretty amazing that I can't share with you right now, but know that God is working and He's working on your behalf. And we love you so much. Let me close this in prayer. Heavenly Father, God, what an amazing ministry. What an amazing team you put together, God. And what an incredible group of folks. And we come to you, God, and some of us, all of us are pretty messed up, God. Let's be frank about this. But God, you know what our needs are, and meet everyone's needs, God. Let them know somehow, whether somebody calls, emails, texts out of nowhere. Bless everybody that's here tonight, God, that they would get that encouragement that we need to get the strength and the fortitude to continue to move forward, God, in your name with great anticipation of what you're doing in their lives, God. God, you never promised it was going to be easy, but you promised you'd be with us by our side, God. And that's where we need you, God. We need your strength and your encouragement. And we just need you. So, Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for Dan, his beautiful heart, great message, great encouragement. Thanks for all the wonderful people that have showed up here tonight. God, we also shout out my brother, Rich Kevin, in the background, putting this all together because he is an amazing guy. keeping this going, God. And to you, all the glory, God. Thank you for your love and your mercy and your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, you guys, we will see you next week live here at 7 o'clock. And we're going to be meeting every week. So plan on that. And as soon as I know when we can meet in person, you will be the first to know. But God bless you. Go in God's grace. We'll see you soon.